Oh, hello. I was a little late to read the chat. Welcome, welcome. Just experimenting with stuff right now. Welcome, welcome. Not really sure what to do with all this streaming crap, so I thought might as well co-opt someone from someone else's fan base and try and figure it out. Welcome, thanks for joining. really sure what to do with all this streaming
This one's
crap,
bad,
so
but
thought might
that's
as well
fine.
co-op someone from
2
someone
out of
else's
3
fan
is not
base.
too bad. Let's do a little
Trying to
goofy
figure
goober
it
right
out.
here.
Welcome, thanks for joining.
This one's bad, but that's fine. 2 out of 3 is not too bad. Let's do a little goofy goober right here. Let me know if audio is coming through okay. Seems a little quiet in my preview, but and I realized I had my preview running through the streaming so you guys could hear it repeated. That's very nice. You're gonna be a monkey. Can't put your stripes on. Beauty. Look at that. Bud's looking like a real homegrown champion. Let's get some color on these idiots. This bloke is lumping out. He's just a big Brutus sort of guy. He's pretty chill once you get to know him. Let's make that even like that. There we go. That's more like it. And you know what? He's not perfectly even, so he can be a little off kilter. That's perfectly fine. Maybe he's just open his mouth crooked or something. So I guess the biggest thing to learn is how to stay entertaining this whole time. Got to decide if I'm going to lock in on the art or lock in on community maxing and all that crap. Oh, everyone left. Look at that. Beautiful. Well, thanks anyway. All I needed was to see if the stream worked, so you have all served your purpose. thought of trying that before. There we go. Look at that. Look at our handsome boy. Given his Venus flytrap green. Seems like the delay on the stream for when I speak and when it actually reaches y'all is about 30 seconds. Not horrible, all things considered, but it could be better. That's what I get for living in the middle of nowhere, I guess. Tough to pick between, like, doing a chill voice like this, or just trying to be, like, really animated and be like a YouTuber. Yeah, whoa! Look at this, we're doing so well! We're gonna win! Yeah! Because, like, that hurts my soul to do a lot, but it might be wise to continue down that vein, honestly. As much as I hate it. There's a reason why Mr. Beast got so popular, y'all. And it's because, well, mostly because of his old money thing, but also because he was doing stuff that caught your eye, even if you hated it. And there's people out there who watch Mr. Beast every single one of his episodes. But they still watch him, and that's engagement, and that's all he needs. So what I'm saying is hate watch me, please. Every single one of you. I need you all. Just pour out the rage and hatred from your heart. Just all, unleash it all upon me. Of course don't, but come at it with that kind of mindset. Like, I am going to destroy this man, and there will be nothing left but ashes, and he will die. You know, the more I say this, the more I'm realizing I don't really want that to happen. But I guess it's kind of too late. Oh well. I mean, I guess I'll see what happens. If I end up dying just by the pure will of the people, I guess that'll at least be a story to... not really a story to tell, actually. Because I'll be dead. You could tell it. Whoever you is. I mean, I don't know. Hello, new person. Welcome. You are chatter numero uno right now. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining. I'm just experimenting right now, figuring out how to do the streaming, working on my stream voice, yeah, and all that stuff. Right now I'm coloring a character. His name is Lampanote. He's a big dummy. And yeah, I'll go from there. I got some other guys sketched out. Here, take a look. probably not going to get to all of them. I only want to stream for maybe 45 minutes, and I'm already at 30. But yeah, just let me know how audio sounds. This is literally the first time I've ever tried any of this stuff. So if there's problems, if there's things to improve on, just please tell it in the chat, because I have no clue what I'm doing, and it probably shows. This guy, he's a tank character. So all these characters are for a game. A codeless game. It's a game project. I took it on as like an excuse to design game characters. And I just told people, oh, I'm doing an art project. Oh, art project, just to sound all pretentious about it. But I just wanted an excuse to draw video game characters for a game that doesn't exist. So this guy, he is a tank character. And so he's a little slower than others, and very heavy hitting. He's got some status moves, tangle, roots, and stuff. I guess I should say the concept of the game, I don't know if anyone has ever played this besides like me and my family. But there's a game for the Xbox 360, released by Rareware, called Cameo Elements of Power. And it was never super popular, but oh my goodness, we ate it up, and it was really great. It honestly, great's probably not a good way to describe it. It was very fun for a 9-year-old kid. I still get it out and play it every once in a while. Usually I just kind of speed run it in a day. There's some serious problems with it, just pacing and story-wise, but the core concept is you play as this elf chick, very early 2000s, if you know what I mean, and she shapeshifts into monsters, and it's super cool. And there's been other games that have come out kind of like that. Skylanders is kind of one that's similar, where you can switch between monsters in mid-battle and stuff. But you had to buy a bunch of figures for Skylanders, so I never got into that. So my idea is I wanted to kind of make a spiritual successor, in a way, to that game, because I just love it so much, despite its flaws. And it's a huge inspiration for a lot of my style and stuff, artistically. Some of my storytelling inspirations, all that stuff. So yeah, I can, once I'm done with this, I'm gonna pull up a screenshot or some pictures of the characters, just so y'all can understand what we were working with here. Let's get him fully on screen. Ta-da! Alright, now let me pull up. You'll like Pummelweed. So Pummelweed is one of the characters in this game. He is a Venus flytrap boxer. Super simple. I don't know if this will work. Here we go. It just lagged a little bit. Alright, we're cooking. Let me pull this up here. You can take a look at that. So he plays him. And he punches stuff. He can dig underground to do uppercuts. If you get a good enough combo with him, you can end up slowing down time and just do tons of damage. Super fun. Let's pull up another one. In the original Cameo, there aren't really classes per se. They're all just kind of fully unique. In my project, I wanted to have somewhat more organized system. Let's see, Major Ruin. This one is super ugly, but he's also really fun. That's something I also want to avoid with this project. I don't want any of them to be heinous. Oh, how about this? How about I just sitting here trying to... There we go. That's better. Now I don't have to pull up a bunch of extra tabs. So that's Major Ruin. Really super freaking ugly. But what he'd do is he'd roll around, and you could build up a bunch of velocity and roll up ramps and stuff with him. He had some really ugly ass skins that were just heinous. Which is another thing. In this game, you could find little skins hidden in the world that you could wear, which is really cool. I like how they implemented that. Let's pull up another one. Let's do Chilla. So this guy, he's a gorilla with ice. He's one of the only ranged characters in the original cameo. You can see there's Santa costume, mummy, all this stuff. I think some of these were like distributed, and here you can see that's the player character. Some of these were distributed on Xbox Live, and others were distributed in the game. So some of like the silly ones, I believe, were Xbox Live exclusives. Here's the best. This is the best guy. He is, nope, not that one. How dare you? Where'd he go? Ah! Okay, this is the best. His name is Flex. I just love him. I don't know how to say it. He's just the best. He slapped things with his tentacle arms, and it was beautiful. Character design has never needed to be any more complex than, oh, it's a squid, and it slaps things. That's, oh, buckets. No, it's horrible. It's not peak. It's literally nails and an eyeball. That's terrible. I guess in a way it's kind of fun, but it's disgusting. Flex, unfortunately, did not have a lot of cool skins. I think he had a gold one. Probably not gonna find it. That's another one. That's deep blue. He was really fun design, but he sucked in game. Just really bad. Flex had a gold one, and I think there was a robot that was kind of fun, but all his others kind of sucked. So that's the inspiration for this game. It's 3D, kind of, not auto battler, 3D horde battler. There you go. So you'd clear into areas, and you'd get like you get locked into a little area, and a bunch of trolls would start spawning, and you had to beat them all. Just dozens and dozens of them. Super, super fun. It's just awesome. Pleases all of the little tween-age power fantasies of little baby jickers. So that was nice. There's some problems, obviously, as I was saying. There's a fair amount of pretty huge problems with that game. But, oh, your flower's supposed to be pink. I'm an idiot. There we go. But it's generally fun. So that's kind of what I want to do with this one. Now, this is not anywhere near even on the horizon, because coding makes my head hurt quite a lot, and it's fun. It's fun when you get it right, but I'm a little too much of a perfectionist at the moment. It's a skill I'm slowly developing. I have other game projects I'd like to work on, actually, so I'll probably do the next page on the one that I'm actually actively producing, because these guys are my comfort characters, so I like to draw them as much as I can. Yeah, this game's called Rustle, by the way, like rustling leaves. I don't know. I don't really know why I chose to name it that, but I think it was just like a code name, quote unquote, because I wanted to be really cool and have a code name. But it ended up sticking, so. Alright, there's Lampanote. This handsome fellow right here. This is Forzicchio. He is the best. I love him very dearly. He's a carrot with big muscles. I mean, there's nothing else you could ever want from that. Hugely inspired by like Earthworm Jim, which I've never even played that game, but I love that character design. Just beautiful. This one right here, this is Skitterpop, and I actually can open up a new picture of him. Let's see. I got loads of stuff on these guys. There's Skitterpop. So, his whole deal is he kind of he's electric, obviously. And he will kind of lightning bolt zigzag between enemies and stun them in a chain. And then at the end of the chain, like a explosion, like a lightning explosion follows them all. It's visually, I think it's cool. And in theory, I think it's awesome. However, catch-22. I have no clue how to implement that digitally, so that'll be fun to figure out. But I feel like gameplay-wise, that'd be a ton of fun. Super glass cannon, like he has very few hit points, and you gotta be careful with him. But if you can do him right, he's very awesome. Let's see, hide all these, make us some new layers. And this one will be another purple. I instead of naming my layers, I just color them. So purple's base, because I use purple for my base. Obviously. The yellow is color, red is outline. This helps me to see from a distance. Alrighty. So this other game, this one that I'm actually working on, is really, I like this concept quite a lot. So it is, I don't know if any of y'all are old enough to know what Gumby is. Some of you guys will. But Gumby was this old cartoon, I think it started in the 60s. I'm sorry, it wasn't a cartoon, it was a stop motion show from like the 60s, and I think it went into the 80s and stuff. But it was all stop motion, and every episode was very different. The way it worked is Gumby, who's the little clay guy, would go with his friends into books and meet like book characters. And so sometimes it'd be sci-fi, sometimes it'd be Wild West, all different things. And each of the things, each episode would be built inside of like a train diorama sort of look. It's great. Really kind of janky, and the old like 70s, 80s camera style was just, it was so creepy. Even when the show wasn't really that creepy itself, but the old camera made it look so creepy. And I just love that aesthetic. It's like analog horror. That's really what it felt like. The whole show felt like analog horror. And I love that. So I also, a very, very core memory for me was sitting on the floor of my grandparents' basement watching ancient VHS tapes of cartoons that probably no longer exist anywhere, like really old stuff. I think I've seen one of them on YouTube, but the rest of it's just lost to time. Just stuff that they recorded online, or not online, what am I saying? Stuff that they recorded on their TV and for us. And I just remember seeing how creepy a lot of those old cartoon, like 30s and 40s cartoons were. So this project, to wrap things up a little bit, this project is a combination of both. So it's a point-and-click adventure, which I guess is an important detail as well, with cartoon characters on grungy, dingy, like real diorama sets. And so I've got a massive collection that I've been building of just really ugly vintage, like fake foliage and tools and doll houses and stuff, to make the diorama sets out of. And you play as this little froggy guy. I don't have a name for him. I probably will never name him. But, you know what, I'm just going to use these as lines. I really like how this looks. But he's awesome, and he's very cute. And if you don't agree, that's fine, but you're wrong. I'm going to reuse everything. Look at that. Let me zoom in. Sometimes Krita makes me want to puke. That's the wrong color. So yeah, you play as this little guy. You explore this diorama version of your owner's garden, essentially. but it's obviously I've got a bunch of like animals and bugs and stuff that have built the city inside. So you're in someone's garden and like front lawn and stuff and backyard, but every area is decorated like a city street, but bug sized with like big leaves and produce and stuff hanging over. And there's other areas. There's a spot where you go inside of a computer, and there's the front porch. There's a lab. There's a tool shed, stuff like that. But it's all gonna be shot, and I've already made some of them. Need to do a little bit more learning on how to actually do proper photography for that, because I want it to seem super duper janky and old. So I need to figure out how to do the photography properly to make it fully in that aesthetic, you know. But overall, the basic idea is... Oh, that's too light. Is there. And it's super fun to work on. I love... Because I just want it to be as absurd as possible. Full throttle absurdity. Because that's always been my favorite. I want your butt to be green, actually. But it's a load of fun. I really enjoy designing characters and stuff. I don't know if anyone... I'm sure some of y'all have played Pajama Sam, right? That's classic, humongous entertainment. Pajama Sam, Spy Fox, stuff like that. All of those. That's part of the inspiration. So I want the environments to be kind of wacky like that, in a way. But also, there's another game that I don't think I've ever met another person who's played it before. And it's called Full Pipe. It's this really wacky Russian point-and-click game. It's made by made by Ivan Maximov, who, if you're not into animation, you probably don't know who he is. And even if you are, you also probably don't know who he is. But he's a Russian animator who just makes nothing but absolute absurdity. And I love it. I live for Ivan Maximov. He's fantastic. But he made a point-and-click game this is like 2001 maybe. And it was called Full Pipe. And the game made no sense at all. There was no hierarchy, no structure whatsoever. The quest lines were so insane. Like, oh, give this guy a broom to scratch his nose with, and he'll give you the stool that he's sitting on. And with the stool, you can go up to that little hole in the wall that isn't even visible from most angles and put it up to the wall and stuff like that. It's just great. Real crazy. But I love that game. It's so bad. The art design's fantastic, and the monsters and everything is fantastic. But the game itself is so badly made, or badly designed. Puzzles are just intentionally obscure and annoying to deal with. And I love it so much. It's fantastic. That's the main inspiration for this project here. Besides, of course, Gumby and old cartoons and stuff. Kind of Cuphead-ish in a way, I suppose. But Ivan Maximov, and specifically Full Pipe, are the key inspirations here. Because it's so perfectly absurd. Obviously, I want the puzzles to be way more sensical than anything in Full Pipe. I want people to actually be able to play the game. But by the same token, I want to add a few puzzles that are incredibly obscure and Full Pipe-ish in a way to really mess with people and make them not go crazy, but make them experiment and try and figure out how to do it. Lots of secrets and stuff. And any of y'all played the humongous games like Pajama Sam and Putt Putt and stuff like that, Freddy Fish, etc., you'll know that they liked to
put like all these little animations, little hidden guys around every corner. So if you like click background elements, these little dudes will come out and they will just do things. It's kind of hard to explain, but like you click the knot on a tree and it opens up like a little window and a dwarf guy shakes his fist at you. Stuff like that. Just really silly. There will certainly be lots of that because I love doing goofy little animations like that anyway. And it's just, I love it. So I'm excited. It's been a fun project to work on. Got lots of fun puzzles in progress. Learning the game engine. Thankfully, with a point and click game, once you learn how to make one puzzle, you can do anything because it's almost all animation. Like in the game, it'll look like, oh, well, in this puzzle you had to jump up to get the tomato hanging from the vine, and in this one you had to use the straw to suck up a tadpole or something like that. But in engine, those are identical. In engine, for the tomato one, it's just play animation, frog jump, get tomato, add tomato to inventory. But for the tadpole one, it's play animation, frog, get tadpole, remove straw from inventory, or maybe keep it, depending on how you need the puzzle to go, and add tadpole to inventory. It's the same. You can have an if statement where the only way you can activate it is if you have the straw in your inventory, but it's all basic like that. Check if has straw, then allow tadpole collection, something like that. And being very, very basic, because honestly that's the highest level I understand coding anyway. Yeah, so that's how it works. I greatly enjoy the thought of it. In practice, maybe I'll end up hating it, but it's been a whole lot of fun to experiment with this. I've got some of my friends who have done animation and stuff. I've got them on board to help out with some things, and it should be a blast. I think everyone will enjoy. It's super weird. I want to do the music to be kind of like Over the Garden Wall music, so like old kind of creepy folk music. I just think that's perfect. Because, I mean, Over the Garden Wall soundtrack, a lot of that's kind of inspired by old cartoons, too. So, it's a shared inspiration there. Tons of fun ideas. Of course, I've got to get there before I can really say anything else, before I can start flaunting it, but it is loads of fun to work on. I think my music stopped. Oh yeah, my music stopped. Here we go. Music's back on. I'll be honest, I despise lo-fi, but it is the only way to play Nintendo music on here. Alright, that's gonna be it for this.